Hi, welcome to this episode of Herald Café. Today we have a guest from Assagao, Cajetan D'Mello.
Alan Victor John D'Mello. I used my full name because it has my father's name in it, Victor Cajetan D'Mello.
Yes, and Victor Cajetan D'Mello is a freedom fighter, and
Yes.
now Alan is trying to get his ancestral home as a community center in Assagao.
Well,
Please tell me.
part
a
one is
little
like
bit.
part one we've achieved it,
Okay,
right? We bought our house back from a Delhi developer.
that itself is a story.
So my mother and brother went and sold a perfectly good condition house for 13 crores. I went and bought it back from his Paraba for 16.5 crores. Despite they now wanting to sell to me, we went and bought it back, right? And now we are converting the house into a community center because, like my father, who was a highly accomplished businessman, he was MD for large shipping company,
Okay.
whatever else. But he was a socialist at heart, and he was so feared by the government of Portugal that they put him at shoot at side orders.
Tell us more about that.
Correct. So my father was born in 1930. November 21st, few days coming up, is his birthday. And when he was young, he actually did a lot of work against the British early days in his bachas. He actually met Gandhi and all those characters. And that's a family tradition we have. My families built schools and something. We come from a business family. And then when India won independence, fantastic, etc. Shipping company based in Bombay. So I often say we're migrants in Bombay because from Goa he went to Bombay, so we're migrants. And then the Portuguese ruled 1961, all those things. Politically active, and he would leave a lot of his business behind to help the Goans.
Right.
I used to call my father a smuggler. It's true.
Why? Okay.
Because from my village in Assagao, among other places, we are very lucky to have a very highly accomplished village, ambassadors, CEOs, global people. Like my family circle is chairman, railway board, cardinal, this and all that. And what the Portuguese used to do, and my dad was very angry against, is they would block employment opportunities for Goans.
Right.
They would block employment opportunities because India was thriving. Portugal under Salazar was nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Crumbling. In the end, yes.
Correct. And they would say, sorry, you can't cross the border and things like that. Even the law minister of India, who was Ramakant Kala when he was young, he got smuggled out of Goa through the border up there, the Banda border, through his aunt walking through salt mines and all. He got smuggled out and came to, that's how he got education. So my father was a smuggler in the sense, I would say that, because he would help people get documentation to come to Bombay.
Right.
Southern Bombay, where the CST, Metro, they would have a biker club, they would, whatever the clubs are, all that. And he would pay to the help group to help them get room, accommodation, get employment, start the work.
The codes also that.
Yeah, so you're technically helping people, you're smug, like how the migrants of Syria and after they want freedom, etc. Goans were like that. So my father was on the other side saying, we'll help you come across. So he was not stopped by the Portuguese. And he was very, very politically active. And his circles later on was Sunil Dutt, Najma Heptullah. In my house, I grew up with the cardinals of India and all that stuff. So when I've seen that face to face, and my father did so much of work despite running his business and everything else. If you're a good son, you continue the work. No?
Good. I think that is the genesis of this Victor D'Mello Community Center.
Yes, it's heartbreaking also. Right? What do you want to know about it?
Like, what are the activities you have planned?
Now, like I told you earlier, I didn't want to set up the Victor D'Mello Community Center in the way it is today. I mean, we wanted to do something. For years, we've been donating, helping out scholarship programs. But we went and actually saved my ancestral house.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
2,500 square foot house, mint condition, very good house, etc. And my mother and brother went and sold it to Isprava for a profit. I told you earlier. And I didn't want it to happen. I couldn't. They legally done and sold everything else. Isprava bought it at 13 crores. I went and bought it for 16.5 crores through a proxy buy and builder developer. But because
you had to do that.
I had to do that. I didn't want to let it go because, see, I'm also a chef, but I'm also a historian. And I study migration, study culture, cuisines. And it's just so sad for many generations, even now, that people don't know their roots.
True.
And there are so many expats around the place saying, where am I from? Who am I? Those kind of details. I didn't want that to happen to me. I study migrant, I study conflict, I study cuisine. So I said, whatever come may, we will try and save as much as possible. I took a hit of 16.5 crores. Just the stamp duty on the house is about 60 lakhs. Screw it, we'll do it. What we are doing now is we've had to do some civil work on the house. We're building a library and things of that nature. The house is no longer livable the way it was earlier. I won't go into the details. But rather than be a family, I come from a family of freedom fighters. And let me explain to you the backstory is, Nilankur. You don't fight for your freedom. You're fighting for everybody else's freedom.
True.
Fair?
Yes.
Everybody else's freedom. So there's nothing like, nothing personal to gain.
Yes.
Right?
It's a community. It's for everybody.
Yes. And there was a culture in India, in Goa. If people say first you, then me. In Hindi say pehle aap, tu me fourth. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now it is first me, rest of the world can die. So in 2 generations, we have gone from people putting their lives on the line for the community to saying, what is community?
True. Yeah.
And in a culture like India, whose people say I'm insular and very, other people are bad, I'm always good, it becomes friction. I have seen so many cultures break up from inside out, not from outside in.
Imploding.
Inside out because they start fighting among themselves. And Goa is a nice place. It's very unique in the world. Assagao is even better than most. So, if you learn from the past, you should learn good things.
Talking about Assagao is the best of it all, like from your growing up years till now.
Yes.
Can you give a comparative idea?
You know how fate intervenes, right? In Assagao.
Yeah,
So
tell
the
me.
fate. I have asthma. Born with asthma. The child in Bombay. I grew up in Bombay. I am allergic to shellfish. So I couldn't eat crabs, couldn't eat prawns and all that stuff. I'm allergic to certain kinds of pollen in the air. So every summer in Bombay, February, March, very conveniently, I would fall sick, breathing problems. Because also the pollution in Bombay is horrible. And I'm also a very naughty student. So I would blame my marks on my illness. But my parents were smart. Within 48 hours of my exam getting over, they put me on a bus to Goa. Right, Assagao. My grandparents used to come along with me. And Goa was a cultural difference. So I used to come fair and return dark after 3 months. I was a full Mowgli in Assagao. Playing cricket, running around, all the boys, girls. And it came into my heart, right? I just loved it. Right? And somebody asked me this question, not just you also, what do you remember of the past? What is missing? I said, nothing is missing. We were happier then than we are now.
Okay.
Happier then than we are now.
It's a good thing to hear.
Power used to go off at 7 in the evening, a lights, put candles. Live it.
Okay.
If you're in Mapsa at 6 o'clock in the evening, there's no bus, you walk.
Yes.
Everybody knew everybody else. Life was simpler, and it's not like life is complicated now. We make it complicated. So I'm very lucky to have roots. I know a physical place of where I am from, Assagao and Saligaon. So most of my memories in Goa, other childhood and growing up, are happy. Because I would come here and get healthy within 48 hours. By the time I come into Goa, the air was so clean. I had 48 hours.
Got it, yeah.
And often I wouldn't be found in Assagao in my house because I would sit on somebody's bullock cart and disappear somewhere else. I would go to somebody's house and play cricket till 7 in the evening and all those kind of things. So the whole of Assagao, as much as possible, was my playground. Who has a village as a playground?
True.
Right? And I'm so close to the school area, things like that. My father's on the school board. He helped rebuild the school. I'm on the school board.
Union School.
Assagao Union High School, among the things. And so I could see traces of his work, and even the older people who've worked with him and worked with this, the benefit of the work he does, and I am doing now, Nilankur, is generational work. People he helped 20, 40, 50 years ago are benefiting now. People he's given jobs to, people employment to, help fund education.
Got it.
And when you give somebody a job or help them, you're not helping him, you're helping 3-4 generations in advance, right?
Yes.
So even though I don't trade on the name, I just sometimes say Victor D'Mello. I've never used it as a get out of jail card yet. I want to go to jail, but Narendra Modi doesn't put me in jail.
Right.
Edit.
So that Assagao is like such a big village, big and prosperous village, and there is not a community center yet. Why do you think is the reason?
So let's say I mean, you from Assam. I'm so happy you're doing the work you're doing in Goa. So those of you watching also will remember even 20, 30 years ago, 1980s, say 40 years ago.
Yes.
It was a close-knit or very well-sorted community.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Tourism comes and goes, let them do their own shit. So other than the community physical center, now our village is long. We had community activities, traditions, something we turned to because those traditions evolved to stay connected. If you try and walk 7 kilometers from one person's house to another person's house, your whole day is gone.
Right.
1 hour, 4 kilometers, 2 hours to reach, etc. So people will use this culture. You spoke to Maria, you spoke to so many years, people will evolve these things, right? In a span of 30 years, 20 years actually, since 2000, eroded. It's politics and sociology and economics.
Tell me about that. Sociology part.
Sociology. Why am I in Bombay? Why do people travel? Because of opportunities and curating that way. Why are you here for opportunities, for economic migrants that way? Fine, people move, people go back. Even across villages in Italy and France and all, there are Spain and empty villages. People, the culture moving to cities. That's not a new culture, it's moving to cities and things like that, right? So Goans, we had a brain drain.
Yes.
Right? All Canada or Australia and all that stuff, whatever, they live their lives as crap as they are in those countries. Who the hell will live in Canada for all places? Minus 20 degrees for 6 months a year. And we are sitting in short pants and a beer in December. Who's going to sit outside over there? True. Anyway, so fine, it leaves a vacuum over here. Now, in a vacuum, something comes in, something
to
goes
fill the
out.
void.
We are very lucky in Assagao that people are buying 4 crore houses, 5 crore houses. Now, if you buy 4 or 5 crore house, your class is different. Your achievements are different. Correct?
True.
And we are very grateful because if you're not careful now, Assagao is declining because you see flats coming up. The first generation of people who came in were bought off the older houses.
Yes.
Now, Goans inherit houses. Somebody has built a house 150 years ago. They think, Batkar zale.
Yeah.
Who's going to maintain it?
Right? And maintenance costs a lot.
Correct. Now, these people said they'll buy it out. And they revived houses. Beautiful houses have come back. It's like a flower blossoming again.
Restoration.
Beautiful. Other people bought land and built bigger houses and they wanted to be part of the community. Now we got flats coming in and speculators. So the community center, and I said, look, and I work in tourism, I'm a hotelier chef. I work globally on tourism policy. And I said, look, if you go to Italy and France, they don't become Goan. If Goans go there, Goans become Italians. Italians don't become Goans. If Delhiites and other people come to Assagao and Goa, they should become Goan, right?
Yeah.
We learn the best from each other. I mean, film directors, businessmen, highly accomplished people are my neighbors now. So let's learn the best from them. Right? Unfortunately, what has happened is we have 2 Assagaos. We have the tradition.
Interesting.
We have 2 Assagaos.
Okay.
In the same physical space that is Assagao. We have the traditional class of people inherited, living there. Fine, not everybody is highly accomplished. Because if you go back to Haryana and UP and their villages, they look like mounds of dirt in the middle of nowhere.
I can imagine.
You can. You remember the Goan Hyderabad UP village. Nothing compared to a Goan village in Assagao, right? So they're living their lives, houses. Now you got people with larger houses buying things. Perfect. There's a cultural divide. Okay. And the people who are buying houses want their privacy, which means they'll build walls. They won't interact. Right? And the same people who go to France and Europe and Italy for 2 weeks will come back speaking Italian.
I can connect the dots.
Even you're in France for 2 weeks and Italy and going to Spain and you speak French and blah, 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 blah. You live in my village for 5 years, don't speak a fucking word of Konkani. You build high walls. So the cultural divide is so severe. Not that they don't know how to. Everybody wants to help each other. They just don't speak the language. Now, I was very fortunate. I've had a global career. I've had large scale. So I've got exposure to their side and I got my heart is in Goa. So it falls upon those with the ability to help. Like Gandhi says, if you can help, help. So I can relate to people who global CEOs, film directors and whatever else, the urban class and the rich class.
Settling in Assagao.
I can relate to my villagers, my neighbors, and I'm providing the bridge. And it's not like the newcomers, we don't call them outsiders, we say newcomers, right? they don't want to help. Nobody's been able to invite them to help. And they feel that they're not being invited, not even making any extra special attempt.
Got it.
And they want to help, they want to integrate, but it's an urban class issue. And unfortunately, Goa has become the playground for Instagram and speculators.
Got it. Yeah.
So,
and you cannot stop it also. This is the...
You shouldn't stop it. It's evolution. You go to Bandra and you go to Santa Cruz and go to Malad in Bombay. You'll hear Watman Bagar and Konkani first before you learn Marathi.
True. Yes.
So why should you stop it? So we are massive troublemakers, no, Nilankur?
And about the activities of the community center.
So
you have a program called Assagao, which
multiple.
Yeah.
So the community center is about the people of Assagao and the cultures. Right. That's why it's called the Victor D'Mello Community Center. Right? Not just all the stuff. It is not here to preserve certain religions or classes or anything else. Right? It is here to sustain and preserve a type of culture. And we know the cultures evolve. You and I speaking English. I'm not supposed to speak English. I'm Goan. I'm supposed to speak Konkani and Portuguese. You're supposed to speak Assamese.
True.
But we speak English. Cultures evolve. It focuses, the key things is on education and culture. Now, the Assagao program created in 2008.
Okay.
2008. Right? The opportunity I have, because I work on tourism, historian, I work on global issues. So I can see patterns evolving before everybody else. If you go to a doctor with a cardiologist, he knows what's going to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He'll probably put a bet on the day and the minute you're going to die also. Take the bet. And call him wrong also. Anyway, so I see that. And I saw what Spain and France and all the other cultures, Italy and other cultures, right? And I saw how they protect or they value their village culture.
True.
So, Scotland, if you go to Scotland, they have games where they throw big logs across the pond and like, wow, 10,000 people are watching, clapping hands.
Got it, yeah.
And Ireland, they're dancing on their toes and called river dance and like, great. In Goa, when you're doing the dance over here, like, yeah, why do traditional dance to be modern? There's a disconnect. So the Assagao program is to focus on Assagao community. Our village games, we had sports games, we had what's it called, treasure hunts, we've had cultural activities, most of the village. So that's going to revive again. So Assagao, and it's tied into how I think a lot of Goans, and we will, for those few who are watching, hook up with me soon afterwards. November 21st is my father's birthday.
Right.
December 19th is Liberation Day. Currently, the renovations of the house are on. We are going to use the launch of the community center, either on his birthday if we make it in time, as a 3-day event around Assagao.
Nice. Good one.
3-day event around Assagao, poetry reading, Konkani Tiyat, music. 50% of the performers are from Assagao. It's called Assagao Acoustic Festival. All those activities, art festival across Assagao. So we're going to send out a beacon. This is the beacon. So an Assagao program is very similar in intent to how the Italian classical villages, the tomato festival and this festival. Not designed for tourists. It is designed for the locals. People are welcome to come and watch and participate. We are not here to dance for tourists. Correct?
Got it, yeah.
So when you focus on that, like in my house as we speak, we are building a mezzanine floor library. That's a lot of work. So it's a 25-foot high buildings, 150-year-old house, etc. Right? We are building a library on the mezzanine floor with nice, beautiful work, etc. 2 rooms are going to become a library and a reading room. About 2,000 books. Konkani, Marathi, Malayalam, Kannadiga, Hindi, English. Reading in English is arrogant. Just because you can't read in English doesn't mean you're illiterate.
True.
But it's going to be easy reading. It's going to be an approachable community center. It's going to be a lot of things. And that approach with the Assagao program is tying into the scholarship programs and function. Actually, I put in 2 crores. And this is the most difficult thing I'm going to do in Assagao. But it will be the most beneficial thing in 15 years time. I can guarantee you that.
This is the Assagao Advanced
the Assagao Advanced Education Fund, right? And if you have a chance to study the Indian liberation movement,
okay,
go to Gandhi's house, go to Vallabhbhai Patel's house, go to people's houses, go to see the things, Nehru and everything else. They didn't think short term.
Yeah, they're visionaries. Yeah, they're making that.
So, a lot of the work I'm doing on my house is generations in advance. I've told the architects, this is what you need to think 3 generations in advance. I try not to use concrete, but we have to use concrete. Concrete is a horrible thing. So, I tell you why. So, if I'm thinking 3 generations in advance, like the freedom fighters, there were 3 phases of the freedom fighting movement also.
Okay.
From the late 1800s, when Dadabhai Naoroji was there, then the early generation, and then the late generation, then we inherited it. And that's what I want to tell people on watching this program. That's what we're doing in Assagao. Please come join us at the Victor D'Mello Community Center. We've learned from other cultures. We're learning cultures. A lot of cultures, the Jewish culture, the Gujarati culture, the Marwadi culture, you can call them clannish. But they're focused on pushing people up.
Yes.
Right? They trade among themselves. They get loans among themselves. They push people up. Why do you think the Jews, which are fantastic as a community, is very old? They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, Nobel Prize winners, and all that stuff. Right? Not considering the shit that they're doing in Israel right now. Right? That culture or thinking can be replicated in Nilankur.
True.
So what we are doing is we're providing the culture that people lack to succeed. Now, one of the worst things I have seen, luckily didn't happen to me, is that you're intelligent, you're good enough to be a lawyer, doctor, you don't have the money. Okay? It's just not the money. Okay? It is also the backing. Now, I come from a house where my father would say, I come from a house where you sit with a stick and do it. So, we're actually tracking their education from the 8th standard onwards, giving them tuitions, internships. As they grow older, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a sound engineer, go intern, go do this. We see consistency over a long period of time.
And kind of mold them.
Correct. But this is what they lack at home, no? There's no culture to read at home.
Yes.
I say readers lead, leaders read. There's no culture. And poverty is like gravity. It doesn't let you go. Try breaking gravity on your own and see what happens to you.
Got it.
So what happens is we start tracking and pushing. And then they come to a point, even 10th and 11th and 12th. Correct? And then professional education. If we see consistency and we see intent, we pay their fees. So we're given them 5 years of back. We teach them for 5 years how to be leaders, how to think. My phone book is enough. Our phone book is enough to connect around the world.
Yes.
Correct? You need, like one girl in Assagao wants to be an IPS officer. I got IPS officer Maharashtra to come. The DGT Assagao is helping her online. How difficult it is not. And that is like, if you take one person out of poverty, make them a doctor, lawyer, and give them a skill set, you're taking 3 or 4 generations. So I've seen villages in Rajasthan. One person's an IPS officer or IS officer. Next generation, right, he's broken through despite all the hate.
And he's helping all the...
Then, if he's made it, beta, you also become. And that's become, then 13 people are IPS officers from the same village.
Sweet.
What happens to the village? Because we have been told to be inferior in Goa and in India. In Assagao, we are no longer inferior. So this kind of things.
The pride.
The pride, the ability to. Not the politics. Politics pulls you down. And if you have chance to come to Goa in October, November and December, you'll see a lot of music playing in the house, with free tuitions in the house, the community center. Tuition, it's become a tuition center. It's also become an art gallery.
Nice.
In the daytime, it becomes an art gallery, nighttime art gallery, a performance center. Daytime is tuitions and library and things like that. So it's almost like a signal going out into space saying, look, if you need help, anything else, come hang out, join out with us. And the crazier you are, the more interesting you are, the more we like you here. The bigger the challenge you take, I'm serious, the bigger the challenge you take on, like the stuff he's employed, game.
Cool.
It's our century, no?
Yes.
Right?
Nice. Yeah. I think we're coming to an end.
Nothing controversial you asked me. I was going to laugh a lot. Like.
I think we're coming to an end of this conversation. Yeah. And all the best to your community center. And we look forward in November 21st.
November 21st. Yeah, so it's called the Victor D'Mello. VictorDemello.in is the website.
Is the website, yes.
Look for us. You'll see ads on Herald. Okay, hope that if Ralph gives me a good rate. No, okay. Hi, Ralph. Give me a good rate. Advertising rate. No, we're going to do a lot of outreach and work. It is just not for us in Assagao. It's for Goa.
Yes.
And a lot of other villages have already approached us saying, can we learn from you? How can we work together and vice versa?
And
replicate.
Yeah.
We on our side are taking, we are recording the work on the house. We're taking it globally. We are reaching out across the world saying, we will partner with you. You partner with us in India.
Cool.
Who does that?
Nice.
Huh?
I think this is the way to be, like this is the way to go forward. Like a collaboration and community building. And congratulations and all the best from our side.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you, audience. I will see you again next week.